Hello, everybody. I was going to try to put some makeup on today, but hair washed, which was big. Look, it's pretty. Anyway, I made a little outline so I'd try to remember some things I was going to tell y'all. First of all, the last video I made, I was waiting to go to have my needle biopsy done, and there was a huge mix-up on the dates. I got the phone call. Oh, I don't know. It would have been around 6th, 7th, or 8th, somewhere in there. I was actually in my vehicle eating a taco, sitting in a parking lot, eating a taco for lunch. And I got a call from the hospital that was going to do the biopsy. And she told me that it was going to be Thursday, January 15th. And I said, well, I'm not at home right now and I'm eating, but I can remember that. So when I got home, well, I called my family member because they have to get me and take me and then bring me home because of the sedation. And I told him it was Thursday the 15th. Well, then, anyway, long story, but time went on. And then the morning of the 14th, which was a Thursday, I get a text to my cell phone and an email through my oncologist's office that said, I'm looking forward to seeing you today at 11. And prior to that, I had gotten some appointment reminders via their office, and it kept saying the 14th. And I asked my oncologist nurse, was it the 14th or the 15th? Because she told me Thursday the 15th. And I didn't have a calendar when she called me, so I was thinking the 15th was a Thursday. Anyway, long story, but as it turned out, they had me scheduled for the 14th on Thursday, and I thought it was the 15th, which was Friday. So I didn't get to have it. So now it's been put off until next Wednesday, January 20th. So it's just more time to wait. Supposed to be 2 to 3 days after the needle biopsy, get the pathology. The oncologist nurse told me they might be able to tell me a little bit of stuff bedside, but to get the final pathology report, it will be at least 2 to 3 days after the 20th, and that's a Wednesday. So, I'm hoping by the 22nd on Friday that I'll have an actual pathology. Since I am in the United States, and I'm not sure where everybody is, doesn't matter. But anyway, the 20th is when we inaugurate our new president, Joe Biden, and that's the day I'm getting the biopsy, but it's at 10 instead of 11. So hopefully I'll be home, hopefully by 1 p.m., I hope. It's about an hour drive from here, the hospital I'm going to for the outpatient procedure. And I hope that I'm home in time to watch it because I am an avid political watcher, and I won't get into details, but I do want to watch it. So, so that's that I was going to tell you about. And then secondly, I want to share something with you if you're not already familiar with it. But Google has this program, and I can't believe I have not used it before, but I've really come on strong in the last 2 weeks or so. It's called Google Docs, and it's where you can upload, like I use a computer. I don't use my phone. Like I'm on a computer right now. That's why. And I got to learn how to edit because you don't need to see like my dishes over there and my coffee pot over there and everything like that. Sorry about that, but I'll try to edit it sometime. But I guess it just makes it more personal and makes me more human. But anyway, so I have Microsoft Word documents with a health history and what to do after I die documents and health and life insurance documents, employer disability documents. So anyway, my family, the one that's taking me to the biopsy, suggested I start using Google Docs. And so I became familiar with it the last, 10 days or 2 weeks, something like that. And I've been using that, and it's great because they get a notification if you set it up this way. Every time you upload a new document, or I guess they can on their end, then they can go and read all the latest information. That way you don't have to keep emailing them updates and texting them information. They can just go to your doc page, unless you protected it to be private, and they can read all your latest stuff. Especially, there's a lot of things that need a lot of a lot of follow up and a lot of financial analysis. And some people just, frankly, don't have the ability to do that. And believe me, it takes a lot of tenacity and a lot of determination and dedication and hours and hours and hours on hold with healthcare providers, employers, disability companies. It's just insane how hard it is when someone is so sick, and yet you have to go through all those hoops. And especially now with COVID, their lines are jammed, and you're number 42 in line. We can call you back, press 1 if you want to call back. It's just over the top. So check out Google Docs, and to find it, just go to Google and just type in Google Docs, and it'll take you right there. And it's very pretty much intuitive. If you're used to using a word processor or a spreadsheet, you can put JPEGs up there, pictures of things if you want to show them. Like if you'd have your X-ray or and if your doctor gave it to you, you can upload that. I mean, it's pretty cool. So I was going to tell you about that. And then I have collected and amassed a huge collection of crystal gemstones. I've been buying them from China for well over a year. I heard of the pandemic way before the United States did, because I was buying from China, and it, of course, originated in China. None of the crystals that I was buying at the time was from Wuhan, but they certainly knew about it, and they were all under lockdown for about 3 weeks or something like that. My first masks came from China. My Chinese friends told me to start wearing a mask way before the United States CDC and everyone else said that the United States citizens needed to wear a mask. And I asked my friends, why do you think all the Chinese people are on their streets wearing masks? You think? I think we need to be wearing masks. And nobody would wear one because the CDC wouldn't declare it. Anyway, I started wearing masks right away. Luckily, I'm still negative. By the way, I had a COVID test ahead of my biopsy, and it was negative. So imagine that. That's my 5th one. And that's only because of all the medical procedures I've had to have. It doesn't have anything to do with me being reckless or not social distancing or not wearing a mask or anything like that. It's just because I've had so many medical procedures where the doctors and nurses needed to make sure that I was negative. So when they went to be around me, they would know how to dress up in PPE and stuff like that. So anyway, it was negative. I know I don't have to have another one because that's the first thing I thought of. Now I've got this delay in my biopsy. So now I'm going to have another COVID test, but I don't. I'm good. So I'm still isolating, no one in, and I'm not going in any stores. I did have grocery pickup today, but it's curbside. They put it in my back seat. I don't let it breathe on me or anything like that. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the stones. So I've started to make, I've quit buying them for one thing. After I got the news on the 4th of January, obviously I quit buying stones. So I've received my last shipment. I don't have any more. So I'm working on putting them all away and then trying to organize them. So if anything does happen to me, my family will have some sort of an idea. I've just got so much. It's terrible of, to know what to do with them. But a lot of them come in the form of a heart. They're different materials. And I was just going to show you a couple. This stone is called carnelian, and they're quite thick through, and they're quite heavy. This green one actually has been treated with either heat or a substance that turns it like this color. And the actual stone is called selenite, and then they treat it with a color, but it just makes them really pretty. A lot of people don't like them treated because they prefer a natural stone, more like this one. And then I have, I'll show you another one. This is amethyst, and it's just cut out of the the stone where it was growing in the earth, like a big clump of it. And then they cut it out, and then they cut it into this heart shape. And something like this costs around, I'd say around 18 to 22 US dollars, something like that. And then this is black obsidian. Obsidian is a naturally occurring or forming glass that I believe it is formed in the earth, but it's actually classified as a glass rather than a rock or a stone. So what I've done is, of all the stones and crystals that I possess, I went through and I pulled all the hearts out. So I have a table over there, like a TV tray, and it's just full of hearts. I think I have around 28 of them right now. And I probably have more in my bedroom in my own personal collection. And I'm going to go through them sometime between now and quote then, and compile them all together. And I have a list of 17 people that have been my close friends, really not in real life, but moreover on Facebook, following my healthcare journey and posting encouraging words and doing the best they can under the circumstances with the pandemic. Obviously they can't come over and visit me. They can't do anything for me because of the virus. And so they try to support me the best they can. So as soon as I get the pathology, which a lot of stuff is hinging on the pathology, then I'm going to start asking for their addresses. And I'm going to select, a heart for each person. And I said I was up to 17 already. And I'm going to mail them one, obviously for free. So anyway, I thought that was kind of a neat thing that I'm doing. Another thing, I have a huge doll collection, and I've been in contact with a large auctioneering company in Ohio, and I didn't even know if they were still in business. I Googled them, asked them to call after I sent them an email, and he did respond earlier this week. And we've exchanged information. I've told him what I have. And so that is something that I'm going to push to my family, because they are not going to know what to do with my dolls. So yeah, so that's going to be good. And again, I shared that information on Google Docs. Oh, I see. Oh, people are talking to me while I'm live. Well, isn't that interesting? Oh, there's Leanne. Hi, Leanne. I didn't know this works kind of like Facebook Live. That is so funny. Those are beautiful. Oh, you think so? Why should we be buying them? Well, I just started buying them because, I'd always collected rocks. As a kid, I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and my Aunt Thelma would take me in the vehicle, and we'd go driving around the country mile. And if she'd see a rock pile in a field, she'd pull into the farmstead and ask them if we could go look through the rock pile. And then she'd want to look for geodes mainly, which is just a big, gnarly, round rock. But then you split it open with a chisel and a hammer, and inside it's all crystallized. And I remember that as a kid, as a girl, we would always go rock hunting. And it's just something that stayed with me my whole life. And then several years ago, I started buying crystals, mainly like this, crystal points. Like I have a ton of them, and they're so beautiful. But I didn't know they were available, online. So now I buy them directly from China. And I've been doing this since probably the fall of 19, I'm going to say. So all through 2020, when I was trying to recover from all of these health issues, when I can't sleep or anything, I'd be up all night watching shows because they're 13 hours ahead of us. So if it's like 10 o'clock at night here, it's 11 o'clock in the morning there. And so they would be live there, and most people would be sleeping in the US. So I'd be on there buying rocks and stones. And I bought money. I spent money like I had it, which is neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. I had a feeling this would happen. Let me read more comments. Amethyst is very pretty. Yes, it is. Oh, Mary, that's very sweet. Oh, I used to love going along. Yeah, a lot of people did that. Along rivers and stuff. Like if you went fishing, go along the riverbed and everything. Exactly. Exactly. So I think, it's something I'm just trying to channel my energy and my thoughts into something that gives me purpose in case, something does happen. I mean, like, I'll give you an example. I ordered blanket boxes from Amazon. They weren't that expensive. They were like $35 or something like that for 3 great big blanket boxes, and they were stacking because I wanted to go through my back storage room and get all the blankets and put them in, wash them all up nice and clean, and put them all in these storage boxes. Well, after I got the news on January 4th, it's like, who cares? Why do I care if my blankets are clean and washed and stacked in blanket boxes? Nobody cares. I don't care anymore. So I took that back. I bought a new set of king size sheets for my bed. Who cares? I don't need them, but I thought it'd be nice to have a brand new set of sheets. They're going back. So the point I'm trying to make is the things that were important before January 4th are not important anymore. So, like my clothing, that's another thing. I had all these clothes trying to be somewhat normal by wearing stretch jeans so it looked like I had jeans on, and shirts that were cute, roughly, whatever, but they'd always have tags in the back that would be bothering my skin, And after the January 4th, I just thought, no, I'm not doing that anymore. So I put all those clothes away and I ordered pajama pants that are super soft, made out of cotton. All the shirts now do not have any tags. They're all cotton. And the printing is like right on the material. Comfort is the word. Comfort. That's all that's important to me now. Ice cream. I love ice cream. Now I buy a ton of ice cream. I just eat it all the time. It doesn't matter. I was 135 pounds when I graduated high school. I'm 5'7", but now I'm probably only 5'5" or 5'6" because I can't straighten up because of my hip pain, which is probably metastasized bone cancer. But anyway, at my worst with this whole BS that's gone on for months, I was around 90 pounds. And when I saw the doctor on January 4th, the pulmonologist, they weighed me. And I hadn't been weighed for several weeks, if not a couple of months. And I was up to 110. So that's really good. I am gaining weight, and I attribute that to ice cream. It does kind of mess with my digestive system. So I have to drink a lot of water and a lot of apple juice and pay of a mind to that. But I do eat a lot of ice cream. Oh, God. But anyway, so I'm going to cut this off. I'm just rambling about stuff that's not related to cancer. That's not very nice. My arm, my arm is always messed up. It's always going to be messed up. I still can't really raise it, much farther than this because it has that big thing in there, that big 9-inch rod. Like there's nothing to my arms. Look at, there's nothing there. I'm just skin and bones. My chest is just, ugh. I can't stand to look at myself with no clothes on. It's just hideous, absolutely hideous. But there's nothing I can do. Everything's just eating away at me, and nothing I can do. Right, just do what makes me happy. Do what makes me comfortable. I can't sleep at night, so I'm up and then I'm down, and then I'm up and then I'm down, and I usually eat a really good lunch, but then dinner I don't eat too good, and the one tumor is so near my sternum that sometimes, it's not always, but sometimes I can't swallow, and it goes down so far and then it like sticks, and then I have to wait and then keep swallowing and then take some liquid, and usually by then my food is like getting cold. I hate cold food, but anyway, but it doesn't always happen. That's why I don't understand it. And I try to chew slow, and make sure, I'm salivating properly, before I, swallow it. And another thing I've noticed is when I lie down, if I've not fallen asleep yet, because when you fall asleep, you stop salivating, my saliva will actually try to go down my, what do you call it? Your trachea, your windpipe. And then I have to cough up and out of there, But I think that's all attributed to that one larger tumor that I saw when the pulmonologist showed me the PET scan. And now my oncologist says I don't have to have, they were going to do a GI where they were going to put a scope down and inspect my esophagus with a gastroenterologist. But she told me to cancel that until I got the biopsy. And if it's clear, if there's no cancer, which it's going to be, it's going to be dirty. But anyway, if it would be negative for cancer, then she says I would need to get the GI test. But I think it's because the tumor near my sternum is pressing on my esophagus. I guess, I think too much, but I mean, I'm alone and that's all I do is think. But I think, okay, so probably what's going to happen if it is cancer, if it is, that tumor is going to keep growing unless I take a treatment, which would be radiology, radiation, or chemo to shrink the tumor so it backs off my esophagus. That's going to be a choice, I'm afraid, if it's cancer. Otherwise, the alternative, if I take no treatment, will be that I won't be able to eat. I won't be able to swallow. And then I'll be presented with the option of a feeding tube. And I have seen that in real life because my mother's sister, my aunt, she had a neurological disorder, not cancer related, but it was neuro, and she couldn't swallow. Her throat and everything got paralyzed. So they asked her if she wanted a feeding tube. And at first she said no, but then she couldn't eat. And she was down to like 80 some pounds. Then she finally agreed because she was afraid to die. So they put it into her stomach and they would flow like Ensure through a tube into her stomach. Well, even though she was in her mid 70s, she ran every day. She was a jogger. She would run like 3, 4, 5 miles a day. So her heart and her lungs were strong and healthy. It was just that her neuro was messed up. So when she had that tube and she was basically paralyzed from the neck down, but she had the feeding tube. The family couldn't remove the tube because she had elected to have the tube to begin with. So it would have been murder if we just couldn't take the tube out. So she lay there with a strong heart and lungs and lived for literally 7 to 9 years or something like that. And there was nothing left to her. She couldn't talk, open her eyes, swallow, nothing for years. So do I want a feeding tube? No. I don't know. I'm getting the cart way ahead of the horse, but when you're alone like this and you don't have anybody to talk to, those are the thoughts that go through your mind. And I'm a realist. People call me a pessimist, and I don't really think I'm a pessimist, but I base everything on facts and information that I know to be true, which makes them real to me. So when you have that kind of information, to just think that, oh, well, that tumor by my esophagus, that's not ever going to get any bigger. It's like, are you kidding me? So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, I know it's awful. Yeah, the frustration is terrible. Oh, I used to live in Cedar Falls. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm in Waterloo. Yeah, I was just in Cedar Falls today. Well, anyway, so I'm going to go, and I'll do another one like on the 21st, I think. I probably don't Right. I know. I know it's tough. I know it's tough, Leanne. It just sucks. You know, especially during the pandemic, you know. I mean, it'd be bad enough if I could have people come over. I mean, that would be terrible in and of itself. But here I sit alone. You know, all I can do is call people. And there's not that many people to call, really. I've got an 87-year-old girlfriend that I call all the time. But outside of that, there really isn't anyone. My granddaughter, she lived with me. She's lived with me forever, but she moved out on May 30th, and I never see her. I can't let her in the house because she works in a convenience store. She's kind of high risk. She's an essential worker, and I can't take the chance of getting infected with COVID. I just can't. So I miss her. I've had her in my life. She's 19 for 19 years, and now at this time, I can't even have her here. So yeah, everything sucks. So all right, I'll let you guys go. And I love everybody, and I do thank you all for watching me. And I know I don't record a perfect video like a lot of people do, but I just tell it like it is. So I'll talk to you again on the 21st. Or, well, it depends. If I know anything at all, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll wait till I get the pathology. Okay, see you again. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.